The NFL playoffs are upon us. 2020 marks the first year with a new 14-team postseason format, but despite the additional teams, one thing remains the same. Only one team can be crowned Super Bowl 55 champions. As we prepare for what should be a thrilling January tournament, here's a look at the 10 players who need to step up most in the postseason. And a big shout out to KC Wall for suggesting this video. Number 10. Preston Smith. The Green Bay Packers defense was a key factor in their success last season, when they won 13 games and made it all the way to the NFC Championship game. Standout defensive end Preston Smith was a key cog in that defense, recording 12 sacks and 23 quarterback hits. But the Packers defense took quite a step back in 2020, though it wasn't as noticeable thanks to Aaron Rodgers' MVP-like season. Smith's regression was a main factor in Green Bay's disappointing performance on that side of the ball. Smith came nowhere close to double-digit sacks in 2020, and he was hardly a disruptor at the line of scrimmage. On the other hand, the Packers' other Smith, Zadarius Smith, followed up a 2019 breakout year with another superb outing in 2020. You know Rodgers and the prolific offense will do its job. The secondary should hold down the fort more often than not, but Green Bay's rushing defense has traditionally been their kryptonite in the postseason. Just look at last year's NFC title game against the San Francisco 49ers. Simply put, the Packers need Preston Smith to regain his top-tier form. They need him not only to generate more pressure, but to help stop the run as well. If the Packers can't control the line of scrimmage on defense, it's going to be another untimely playoff exit for Rodgers and company. Number 9. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The Kansas City Chiefs drafted Edwards-Helaire with the number 32 selection in 2020, and the expectation was that he would flourish in that Patrick Mahomes-led offense right off the bat. But as countless fantasy football players know, CEH didn't exactly live up to the hype in his rookie year. He simply couldn't replace the big playability of last year's top running back Damian Williams. Well, Mahomes in the passing game will need some help if they're to repeat as champions. The Chiefs' rushing game was instrumental in putting away the 49ers in Super Bowl 54 after all. Le'Veon Bell could be the Chiefs' starting running back heading into January for all we know. But if Andy Reid calls on CEH, the latter is going to have to step up one way or another. Repeating won't be so easy if the Chiefs have a one-dimensional offense. Number 8. Antoine Winfield Jr. Heading into the postseason, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have most of it down. An explosive passing game, a reliable running game, and an elite pass rush to complement the league's top rushing defense. But the Bucs' biggest problem is, well, a concerning one. They haven't been very good against the pass this year, especially against top-notch quarterbacks like Drew Brees, Patrick Mahomes, and Jared Goff, among others. Rookie safety Antoine Winfield Jr. pieced together a solid rookie year, especially as a pass rusher. But he, like the Bucs' other young defensive backs, were often picked apart in the secondary. They struggled against the deep pass and rarely managed to take away the opposition's best receivers. But what if the offense has an off day? And what if the Buccaneers can't make the crucial stops against these payoff quarterbacks? That's why there's a lot of pressure on Winfield in the Bucs as they try to win their first playoff game since 2002. Number 7. Marshon Lattimore. The Saints stud cornerback had an up-and-down season in 2020. The advanced stats data and numbers from Pro Football Focus show that he didn't exactly play at a Pro Bowl level, though the Saints fielded perhaps their best defense in the Sean Payton era. That said, as everybody knows, New Orleans' defense has endured brutal late-game meltdowns in each of the last 3 years. The Minneapolis Miracle, the Nola No-Call, and last year's stunning wildcard loss to the Minnesota Vikings in overtime. Lattimore struggled big time in that loss to the Vikings, and as good as the Saints' offense is, they simply can't expect to win if Lattimore and the secondary don't do their job. This could be it for Brees, and he more than deserves a second ring before hanging up the cleats. It'll only come if the Saints' defense can actually produce in the postseason, and if Lattimore can get back to consistently shutting down the opposition's top receiver. Number 6. JuJu Smith-Schuster. The Pittsburgh Steelers wideout has been making headlines, but it hasn't been for his play on the field. Rather, it's been all about his pre-game TikTok dances, which didn't sit well with opposing teams. Well, it's playoff time, JuJu, which means it's time to chill with the TikTok and focus on helping your team win a championship in the final year of your contract. The Steelers' offense largely struggled in the second half, and Smith-Schuster's lackluster production was a key reason why. If he wants to remain a Steeler, he's gonna have to step it up. If he wants to maximize his value in free agency, he's going to have to step it up. Deontay Johnson and rookie Chase Claypool asserted themselves as the team's top 2 receivers in the regular season. But Ben Roethlisberger could rely on JuJu in the playoffs, given his experience and playmaking abilities. All Smith-Schuster is playing for is a Super Bowl, maybe his future in Pittsburgh, and his first major NFL contract. Other than that, no pressure at all. Number 5. Devin Singletary. Singletary is in a similar situation here as Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's the lead running back in an offense with a young superstar quarterback. In his case, Josh Allen. Like the Chiefs, the Bills have several game-changing pass catchers. Like the Chiefs, the Bills have a championship-caliber defense that can take over a game at any given moment. But like the Chiefs, the Bills' running backs have been inconsistent this season, and there's no way Sean McDermott will be content with a one-dimensional offense heading into the playoffs. Singletary will surely be asked to do more in the postseason as the Bills try to win their first playoff game since 1995. Also, he could be playing for his long-term future in Buffalo, as rookie Zach Moss looks capable of taking over a larger role if Singletary can't cut it. A strong postseason from Singletary could earn him the long-term starting running back role in Buffalo and possibly a new contract. One way or another, the Bills will need him to up his game as the stakes grow higher. Number 4. Ben Roethlisberger. It feels weird putting a surefire Hall of Famer and 2-time Super Bowl champion on this list. Roethlisberger has accomplished just about everything at the NFL level after all, but it's been 12 years since the Steelers' last Super Bowl championship, and 10 years since their last appearance in the big game. Roethlisberger and the Steelers have consistently underperformed in the playoffs since 2011, and as he finishes up his age 38 season, the clock is quickly ticking on a 3rd ring. If Roethlisberger can win a 3rd Super Bowl, it changes his legacy considerably. Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Terry Bradshaw, and Troy Aikman are the only quarterbacks with 3 or more Super Bowl titles, so Big Ben could be joining truly elite company with a 3rd ring. If the Steelers falter in the postseason again, there will be questions about his long-term future. All indications are he plans to play in 2021, but if Big Ben ends the season with a dud, do the Steelers start thinking about a succession plan? On the flip side, if he performs well, do the Steelers give Roethlisberger an extension? There are so many factors at stake here, which is why the pressure's on Big Ben heading into the postseason. Number 3. Jamal Adams. We have no clue where the Seattle Seahawks defense would be without all-pro safety Jamal Adams. He was well worth the hefty price they surrendered to the New York Jets in the offseason blockbuster trade. Adams' heroics and dominant play down the stretch helped the Seahawks win the NFC West for the first time since 2016. The D enjoyed a remarkable second-half turnaround after a historically awful start to the season. Having set a career high in sacks despite missing 4 games, Adams is well deserving of the long-awaited mega extension that the Jets wouldn't give him. At this point, you have to think the Seahawks will most certainly give it to him if he continues his dominance in the playoffs. The Seahawks really need Adams in the D to play like they did in the second half if they're gonna go all the way to the Super Bowl. Adams and all-pro linebacker Bobby Wagner mask a lot of the flaws on this unit, and Pete Carroll knows it. So there's a lot of extra pressure on Adams to produce in January. Failing to do so will likely result in disaster for the Seattle defense. The pressure is on the young phenom safety heading into his first ever postseason. Number 2. Drew Brees. The league's all-time passing yards leader considered retirement after the 2019 season. But fortunately for the Saints, Brees decided to come back and make another run at the Lombardi Trophy. Brees missed 4 games with fractured ribs, however, and backup Taysom Hill managed to win 3 of 4 starts without him. Given Brees' age and recent injury history, it feels more likely than not that this is it for him. The last dance for number 9 in NOLA. If it is, wouldn't it be utterly disappointing if Brees' final game was another heartbreaking playoff loss? Or, the Saints could send him off on the highest of notes, like the Broncos did with John Elway and Peyton Manning. It's no coincidence that in his only Super Bowl winning season, Brees didn't commit a single turnover in his 3 postseason appearances that year. If this is, in fact, Brees' final season, the pressure is truly on. Number 1. Lamar Jackson. Jackson's first 2 playoff games were just flat out ugly. 2 starts, 2 losses, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. A 51.1 completion percentage, 11 sacks, and a 68.3 rating. Very uninspiring to say the least. Jackson ran away with the 2019 MVP award after leading the Ravens to an NFL best 14-2 record, but they were stymied by the 6th-seeded Tennessee Titans in the divisional round, losing 28-12. Jackson is the franchise star in Baltimore. He has more than enough playmakers, a stout offensive line, a top-notch defense, and a Super Bowl winning head coach to work with him. No more excuses. It's time for him to step up on the big stage and show that he isn't the playoff choker many are already labeling him as. He has to break through in the postseason and show the world he can take his team to the promised land. And he has another chance to do just that in the coming weeks. But hey, what other NFL players need to step up in the postseason? Join us in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.